Families connected by a deadly and unthinkable tragedy are speaking out tonight. Good evening, I'm Dawn Timoney. It's been a top story all week long. Young teenagers charged as adults in the deadly beating of 73-year-old James Lambert. Two of those teens have been officially charged with murder. And the mother of one of those teens, 14-year-old Gamara Mosley, sat down with our Alex Hawley today. It is an interview you will only see here on Fox.
So all that stuff that's on social media about me and my child is not true. I'm not a bad mom.
I sat down for an exclusive interview with Shira, the mother of 14-year-old Gamara Mosley, charged with third-degree murder and conspiracy charges for the traffic cone beating death of James Lambert Jr. Jamara's grandmother and family attorney Lonnie Fish were also present. Much of the attack was caught on surveillance video.
What do you say to some people who've looked at that video and they say, how could a good kid be capable of something like that, beating a 73-year-old man with a traffic cone to his death?
It's the other kids and, bad influence. She probably didn't mean to do it.
The 73-year-old was walking along the 2100 block of Cecil B. Moore Avenue on June 24th when he was attacked just before 3 in the morning.
My daughter didn't tell me nothing like that. Never. Since her dad gone, it just, things been different. Because we ain't got that family no more like we used to have. And I'm saying we used to be in the house and stuff like that as a family. My mom just...
Is what was behind the shooting of a 13-year-old girl who was the witness of the traffic cone beating death of 73-year-old James Lambert last month. Our Kelly Rule has more from investigators.
Law enforcement sources tell me the 13-year-old girl was supposed to talk to Homicide on Friday morning about Lambert's murder, but she never showed up. That night, she was shot in the face. Sources say they are waiting on surveillance video that should show the moments leading up to the shooting. Monday morning, District Attorney Larry Krasner now confirming a 13-year-old girl who witnessed the brutal traffic cone attack that killed 73-year-old James Lambert Jr. became a shooting victim Friday night. According to Philadelphia police, she was shot in the back right ear on Osceola Street around 6:45 p.m. She is expected to survive.
As far as...
What's up, YouTube? It's Rochelle Tannen. It's July 27th, 2022. It's about 3:20 in the morning. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Guys, I've been meaning to post this video, but over the weekend I was in a little fender bender. A king and queen rear-ended me and drove off here in Philadelphia when I asked for insurance because, I'm an adult. I know when you're driving, you should be able to afford to drive. But I guess that wasn't the case of these people, and these were other black people as usual. He sped off, so I was a bit achy over the weekend, so I didn't get to these videos, but I'm going to now. I put a few clips at the beginning of this video. This is a follow-up video on the death of Mr. James Lambert, the 73-year-old black man that was killed by 7 black youths. Now, my last video, the young man who was 14 and his 10-year-old brother turned themselves in. The 14-year-old young man is being charged as an adult. The 10-year-old was released. The young lady that's 14, Gamara Mosley, she's 14 and is going to be charged as an adult. Another young lady who's 13, who was, I guess, on the scene of the beating, she's not being charged. But ironically, the same 13-year-old girl got shot behind the right ear. Now, in one clip of the 14-year-old, the young lady, Miss Mosley's mother's in the first clip saying how she's a good mother. Over the years, I'll be 42 in a week, Lord willing. I've asked many people, what constitutes a bad black mother? Because I know I've said, black women, I don't care how despicable they are, they're always good mothers. When I was 29 years old, I had to sit in jail behind a fight, and that's when I stopped fighting. Every woman in that pod, especially the black women, every woman except one, always said how they were good mothers. I heard some horrific stories in that jailhouse down south. Everything from women that kids been molested to women who were smoking crack while in labor, and all these women has said they were good mothers. There was one young lady, a really smart college educated lady from Georgia. I'll never forget her. She was the only one who said, no, we're not good mothers because we're sitting in jail. She was actually in jail because her boyfriend was sleeping with another woman, and she caught him in her bed, and she went a little wild. But she was still a decent person, and people make mistakes. I know she was decent because she said, I'm not a good mother because I'm not with my kids, and I could have went about this different. But she's like one in a million. Most black women have trouble taking responsibility or an accountability for the things they do or don't do. You look at that woman's appearance. Now, when I've been doing these videos in the last few months, I've been letting my maintenance go. I work in the house, guys, and more times than not, I have no desire to be in these streets. Not right now. Now, my birthday is coming up, so I'll spiffy up for my birthday. But I spent years of commuting to offices and things, so it's nice to be able to be at home and kick around. But going out in public, you'll never catch me in a bonnet. Nope. You'll never catch me in pajamas. And at 42 years old, you'll never catch me walking around without a bra on. Because like my mother used to tell me, you don't want to be hanging all over the place. You always wear a bra. Look at that woman's appearance. And the first thing that came out her mouth was, oh, social media saying this about me and my daughter. I'm a good mom. Bitch, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because if I had a 13-year-old kid, a daughter, I know where the fuck she was at 2:30 in the morning. Then she told a lie, oh, this was her first time sneaking out. Actually, the reporter asked if this was her first time sneaking out, and she said, yes, it's not. That's a fucking lie. Black women need to stop lying to themselves. For all the bullshit I hear on social media, black women lie to themselves like rugs, you know. And let me be fair, black men are just as bad. Black men are just as bad. And she says in this interview, her father hasn't been there and it hasn't been the same. We haven't been in a family. Bitch, her father was never there. I can look at that hoe and tell. Her father was never there. And if he was there, he was one of these in and out, buy Jordans, see the kids when I can type fathers. You know, the fathers that do a good job, but their baby mama still got me on food stamps because they won't buy groceries. You know them. Yeah. That young lady, Miss Mosley, that was her father. And look at her mother. You go on fucking television with a goddamn do-rag on your head looking like a mammy. Looking straight up off of a goddamn plantation, and we're supposed to be better than our ancestors and things. Now, I know you guys, and this is no salt on the slaves, because in a lot of respects, the slaves were much more honorable people than you African Americans are. But her overall appearance looked like a caricature of a mammy. You couldn't curl your hair for that interview, bitch. Your daughter's about to go to trial for murder, and you don't think enough of yourself and your kid to fucking throw some curls in your hair. But she's a good mother. I've heard this shit for years. And the 13-year-old girl, she's not being charged, but ironically, she got shot very close to her head. She got shot in the back of her right ear. Now, they're not sure if this was retaliation from Mr. Lambert's family, which may be a possibility, because if that was my granddad or dad, especially if he had grandkids, because he was 73, so if I was his grandkid and you took my granddad, I don't know what I'd do, especially in that manner. And they're not sure why she got shot, but she got shot. It should go to show a lot of you niggas out here playing games with these kids. Death doesn't care about their age, just like the streets don't care about their age. I've always gotten the impression, if you're a parent, you're supposed to do everything in your power best for your children, to protect them, to guide them, to be decent citizens. If citizens even exist, because most black people, you don't raise nothing but fucking consumers. They're consumers to their heart. Very few of them are citizens, and it's very sad. You guys, she's the type of mother that Black Lives Matter would say is a queen and all this other bullshit. These bitches ain't no fucking queens. And there's no kings out here either. For all the Jesus thumping and Bible thumping you black women do, you should know in the book of Revelations that the good Lord said there'd be a lot of false kings. What do you think you fall under? When I was coming home Sunday morning from Ubering, I did the whole 24 hours Ubering. I got a Lyft which I very rarely use Lyft, but I use Lyft this day. It was Sunday. And I got a black lady who picked me up on Lyft. And we got to talking about the times. And she's one of these melanin, queen, king nonsense and nothing's ever black people's fault type driver. And she was telling me on the one hand how black people are kings and queens, on the other hand how they're lost. As I told her, y'all need to make up your mind. Are you fucking lost or are you kings and queens? If you're kings and queens, you should be raising princesses and princes. And I assure you, princesses and princes don't murder old people at 2:30 in the morning. Just like kings and queens are married and kings and queens are regal, and a queen would never, a true queen will use the Queen of England, will never be out in public with a fucking bonnet on her head looking like a goddamn fool. And this is the behavior you guys condone. But you'll call someone like me or many other YouTubers I can name, or just people in society, you'll call us the white ones, or Uncle Tom, or we self-hate, or all that other smokescreen bullshit you niggas throw out there, and that's fine. But the people you call Uncle Toms and whatnot, their kids ain't out here beating down a 73-year-old at 2:30 in the morning. Their parents know that they're where their kids are. The ones who are the Toms and the Coons and the sellouts and the bedwenches and all those words that are ugly words that you niggas in the last 10 years on YouTube have managed to water down to nothing. They don't even have meaning anymore. Because most of you guys don't even know where those words derive from. That the words you guys watered down, those are the black people that their kids are actually decent. You kings and queens, on the other hand, you lovers of melanin and all that good shit, your kids are killing old black people. And not just old black people, because I want to be fair, because I'm an 80s kid, and it's a gift and a curse. We were taught to respect our elders, right or wrong or whatever have you, and I still have that planted in me. I still, even if I have to tell an older person in me I'm an adult, I do it in the most respectful way I can. A lot of these young people haven't been taught shit, and they've been looking at people my age or around my age as the adults, and that's why they're out here killing 73-year-old people. And it's not just black people. They're knocking over the heads of these old white women. They're robbing their purses. These old Asian people. And I understand from ethnicity to ethnicity we have our differences, but no old person should have to worry about going into a grocery store and getting her fucking pocketbook snatched by some teen black punk who could go get 2 jobs right now. Any young black man or woman who wants a job right now, they could get it. It's so bad they're lowering the ages at some of these stores so 15-year-olds can work. That's how bad it is. So there's no excuse for these kids not doing something constructive with their time, except the parents. But you see, like with this black women take no responsibility for anything. Just like the lady who drove me in that Lyft, and she couldn't answer that question. Either you're lost or you're kings or queens. Pick one, because you can't be both. It's not everyone else's fault the way these children are turning out. It's not social media. It's not the village. It's not the community. It's not white people. It's you niggas that keep having kids and you don't want to raise them, but want everybody to pat you on the head just because you had kids. That makes you a good parent. Like an old black woman told me once in this great city of Philadelphia, and I'll never forget her. It was on Broad and Spring Garden. And I'm going to end this video like this. This woman was in her 80s and we were waiting for the 16 bus. And like she said, any bitch can make a pup. Just because you have kids don't mean you're a good mother. Just because you have kids don't mean you're a good father. Because a lot of y'all, a good 80% of y'all are garbage. And you make it harder for the black community. You make it harder for black singles. You make it harder for married black people. And I'm sick of it. And oh, let me not forget, you make it hard for the elderly to be elderly. Now on that note, you guys know I'm negative. Today I'm hating on Miss Mosley's mother, because you see there's so much to hate on. I'm jealous. That's my number one reason for doing this story, because I'm a hater and I'm negative. And on that note, I'm out.